Hello and welcome to the Japan Lyric Room.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here.
This is a show where we take our time to savor the lyrics of Japanese songs, explaining the meanings behind the phrases and the unique Japanese cultural backgrounds in an easy-to-understand way.
Right?
And I am so ready to get into today's selection because the timing really could not be better.
It really is perfect timing. We're turning our attention to a track that is, about to become the soundtrack of the season for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's called Stars by the group Snowman.
Snowman. Now, regardless of where you stand on pop music, this is a group you need to know right now. But specifically, we are looking at this song because it carries just a massive weight attached to it.
It certainly does. Stars was released in February 2026 as the lead song for their fifth album, Pures.
Right.
But the reason we're doing this lyric exploration today, and the reason it matters globally, is that this track was chosen as the theme song for the TBS broadcast of the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics.
Which is just a huge platform. So essentially, we aren't just looking at a pop song here, we're unpacking an anthem.
Exactly.
This is a song designed to back athletes who are performing on the absolute biggest world stage.
Yeah, it's a song for athletes, for dreamers, and really for anyone facing a high-pressure moment where there are no second chances.
Mm-hmm.
But I think before we even touch the lyrics, we have to address the who. Like, why was Snowman the perfect choice for this specific job?
Right, because if you just look at the charts today, you see the gloss, you see the huge sales, the sold-out domes, and you might think they just walked a red carpet straight to stardom.
Oh, absolutely not.
But that is not the reality, is it?
Not even close. In the history of their agency, Snowman is essentially the poster child for what the Japanese call kusetsu, or a long struggle.
Long struggle?
Yeah, they hold the record for one of the longest gestation periods before making it to the top.
That's a heavy term. Put that into perspective for us.
Well, look at members like Fukasawa, Tatsuya, and Abriohei. They spent about 15 years as juniors. Now, for listeners unfamiliar with the industry, juniors are trainees. You're in the minor leagues. You aren't debut artists. You are just waiting.
15 years. That's an entire career for some people. Most people would have quit after 5.
Precisely. It took over 10 years from the formation of their predecessor unit, Miss Snowman, to their actual debut.
That's wild.
And they weren't just sitting around, they were grinding, doing stage plays, working as back dancers for other artists.
Yeah.
They were literally in the background, out of the spotlight, sharpening their skills.
And I've heard stories that it wasn't just a matter of waiting, but that the feedback they were getting was pretty brutal.
It was harsh. They faced the adversity of being explicitly told to their faces, you guys won't sell.
Ouch.
Just imagine hearing that year after year while you are working your hardest, watching younger guys debut ahead of you. But they didn't fold. They eventually debuted as a 9-member group, and that is when the dam broke.
And when it broke, it flooded. They hit #1 on the Oricon annual ranking for 2 consecutive years, right?
Yep.
2024 and 2025.
Yes. Exactly.
They broke 20 billion yen in sales. It's just a monumental turnaround story.
It is the gold standard of resilience. And that context is crucial for understanding Stars.
Yeah.
Because of this history of shared hardship, of crawling up from the bottom when nobody believed in them, their message in this song isn't just empty encouragement. It isn't a focus group pop song saying, good luck, do your best.
It's coming from a place of experience.
It is a true yell that overlaps perfectly with the sacrifices of the Olympic athletes they're singing for. Snowman knows what it means to wait, to work in the shadows for a decade, and to finally step into the light.
That context changes everything. It gives the lyrics a kind of gravity they wouldn't have coming from a rookie group.
Definitely.
So, with that incredible backstory in mind, let's get into the words themselves. We have picked out 7 specific phrases from the song that really capture this cultural soul.
Let's start this lyric exploration.
All right, phrase number 1. This sets the foundation. The lyric mentions that footprints that never lie are connected to this very place.
This is a beautiful line to start with. The cultural nuance of that phrase is, the path you have walked will never betray you. All the effort, patience, and sacrifices you have made to achieve something are supporting you right now.
Footprints that never lie. The Japanese phrase uses the word for footprints, ashiado. It feels very definitive.
It is, and it's addressing a very common fear. When you are about to perform, you wonder, did I do enough? Was all that time wasted?
Right.
This lyric is the answer. No.
When you think about it in the context of an Olympic athlete or even the members of Snowman, this isn't just about walking. It's about opportunity cost, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Athletes sacrifice playtime, they restrict their diets, they miss birthdays and holidays with family.
They live a life of subtraction to add to their performance. It can be incredibly lonely.
Exactly. And this lyric is arguing that none of that was wasted time. Those footprints are the accumulation of patience. They create the literal foundation that allows you to stand on the big stage today.
It's an affirmation of the past. It's saying, look down at your feet. The reason you are standing here is because of every single step, painful or boring, that you took to get here.
Yeah.
It transforms the suffering of the past into the structural integrity of the present.
Which leads perfectly into the next phrase. Once you acknowledge that foundation, you have to move. Phrase number 2 is about stepping in and visualization.
Yes. The lyric talks about stepping forward with force and imagining the moment the dream comes true.
Let's hear the nuance for that.
Step forward firmly and without hesitation, while vividly imagining the version of yourself that has achieved your goal and fulfilled your dream.
The key verb here is fumikomu. It translates to step in or step forward, but it feels heavier than that.
It's a very physical, aggressive word. It's not a casual stroll.
Right. In a sports context, I picture a figure skater digging their blades into the ice right before a triple axel, or a sprinter stomping off the starting blocks. It's that moment of impact.
It implies a total transfer of weight. You aren't just walking, you're driving your existence into the ground. It's a commitment.
But the brilliant part of the lyric is that it pairs this intense physical action with a mental one. It talks about visualization. This is straight up sports psychology 101.
It is. It's about burning the image of victory into your brain before the event happens.
If you can vividly imagine the moment the dream comes true, you erase the anxiety, you trick your brain into thinking it has already happened so your body can move naturally.
That's fascinating. It connects the physical fumikomu, the step, with the mental preparation. It's holistic. You have to see it to be it.
And once you take that step, you are in the zone. That brings us to our third phrase, which I think is my favorite because it deals with the paradox of pressure. It's about the one moment.
This is where the tension rises. The lyric mentions believing in this single one-time moment and that it will be okay.
And the nuance.
This is the one moment, the one and only performance. Trust yourself as much as you have worked hard every day. It will be okay.
It will be okay. It's such a simple phrase. We hear it all the time in daily life, but in this context, it feels loaded.
It is. And to really understand why this is profound, we have to look at how it connects to the next line in the song, which talks about doing things as usual, or itsumodori.
That is so counterintuitive though, right? You are at the Olympics, the whole world is watching, or you are at the biggest job interview of your life. The impulse is to do something special. You want to be extraordinary.
Exactly. And that is the trap.
Yeah.
In extreme pressure situations where you cannot start over, that one moment, the absolute hardest thing to do is to perform as usual.
Because you're nervous. You want to be a superhero. You try to push 110%.
But this song is arguing the opposite. It's saying, trust the daily self you built up. Trust those footprints we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Don't try to be special the last minute. Just be the person who trained for this.
So it will be okay isn't just blind optimism. It's based on the evidence of your training.
Precisely. It encourages trusting the routine over the miracle. If you do what you always do, you will win.
That actually takes a lot of pressure off. It grounds you. Now, moving on to phrase number 4. This one gets a bit philosophical. It talks about fate and myself.
The lyric speaks of myself, changing destiny, resounding to the sky, and wishing for stars.
And the cultural translation here?
It is no one but yourself, myself, who carves out your fate. Let that strong resolve resound through the sky. We wish for everyone to become a star.
I noticed the use of the English word myself in the Japanese lyrics here. That usually signals something specific in J-pop.
Yes, it emphasizes individual agency. It pops out of the verse.
It's a very active philosophy. It's saying fate isn't this predetermined script that you just have to read.
Right. It's not something that happens to you. It is rewritten by one's own will.
It feels like a prayer, in a way. A prayer for the athlete to shine as a star on the highest peak, but to do it by their own power.
It empowers the individual. You are the author of this moment. You aren't a victim of circumstance. You are the driver.
But, as we established with Snowman's history, being the author of your fate isn't always a happy story. There is pain involved in writing that book. Phrase number 5 addresses this head-on.
This is a grittier lyric. It mentions knowing pain, swallowing tears, and quietly deciding one's resolve.
Swallowing tears, that is a very evocative image.
It is.
Yeah.
And here is the cultural nuance for this section. I have known the pain of setback and suppressed my frustration. That is why now I have quietly solidified an unwavering resolve.
Let's look at that idiom, swallowing tears, or Namida o nomu.
It's a very Japanese concept of stoicism.
It sounds almost medical. It doesn't literally mean drinking tears, obviously.
No, but the metaphor is physical. It means suppressing bitter emotions like regret, sadness, frustration.
Right.
It's the feeling of holding back from crying out loud. You feel that lump in your throat, and you force it down. You swallow it.
That is intense. It depicts a real professionalism, doesn't it?
It does. Think about an athlete who isn't chosen for the starting lineup, or who loses a match by a fraction of a second. Instead of screaming about the unfairness, they convert that regret into power, quietly.
Quietly deciding one's resolve.
Yes, it's not a loud declaration on social media, it's an internal solidification. And I think this resonates so deeply with Snowman's history. They had to swallow a lot of tears when they were told they wouldn't sell when they were left behind.
Absolutely. They took that bitterness and turned it into fuel. Which brings us to phrase number 6. If you have swallowed those tears, what keeps you moving? This phrase is about pushing the back.
The lyric says that what pushes your back is the irreplaceable days of challenge. And the nuance is, what gives you the courage to take that final step is the very days of challenge that you have fought through.
Pushing the back, or sanaka o osu. We hear this a lot in Japanese music and anime.
Yes, it's a very common idiom.
Yeah.
It means giving courage to someone who is hesitating. It's that gentle shove that says, go on, you can do this.
But usually in these songs, it's a friend or a lover or a mentor pushing your back. Who's doing the pushing here?
That's the brilliant twist in this song. The lyric says it's the irreplaceable days of challenge.
So it's your own pass.
Exactly. In that extreme moment at the Olympics, the thing that gives you the final push isn't a magical force, and it's not even your coach standing on the sidelines. It is your own past self.
Wow.
The version of you that sacrificed things, the version of you that swallowed tears.
That is profound. It's like your past self is standing behind you saying, I did the work, I suffered through the training, now you take the step.
And the lyric uses the word irreplaceable, or kakigai no nai. Those days of struggle weren't just hard, they were precious, because they created the force that pushes you now. It is the ultimate respect for the challenger.
That is beautiful. It reframes suffering as an asset. And it leads us to our final phrase, number 7. No two stars alike.
The lyric states, there are no two stars the same. There are countless dramas. Here's the cultural nuance. Each person is a unique existence, and behind them lies a story of precious effort unlike anyone else's.
No two alike, or futatsu tanai.
It means unique. There is no alternative.
It reinforces that idea of the individual story.
Yes. Just like we saw with Irreplaceable in the previous line, this emphasizes that the athlete in this specific moment in time cannot be replaced. There is no plan B for this life.
It validates every single person's struggle as their own unique drama. You can't compare your struggle to someone else's.
Exactly. And when you put all these 7 phrases together, you get a complete picture of the athlete's journey. From the footprints of sacrifice, through the visualization, trusting the routine, owning your fate, swallowing the pain, being pushed by your own history, to finally shining as a unique star.
It really is a complete narrative arc. It takes you from the bottom of the mountain all the way to the peak.
It is.
So, to summarize the feeling here, Stars isn't just a pop song. It feels like the ultimate anthem to accelerate the heartbeat of those athletes fighting in the freezing cold of Milan.
I agree completely. And I think we have to circle back to the artist one last time. Because Snowman crawled up from rock bottom, because they have that history of 15 years of struggle, their words have real weight.
Yeah.
When they sing, "It's gonna be okay," it has real blood flowing through it.
It's not a script they were handed, they lived it.
They lived it. The harmony of those 9 members shines a light on everyone's irreplaceable moment. It's a powerful message for 2026.
Well, I think we have certainly savored these lyrics today. I hope this gives you a new perspective when you hear Stars during the Olympics coverage.
Me too.
Thank you so much for listening again today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
We pick up various Japanese songs and update our website with detailed explanations. If you want to savor the lyrics more deeply, please check the website from the link in the description.
If you like this show, please subscribe or follow the channel.
It really helps.
And if you have any impressions or requests for songs you'd like us to cover, please let us know in the comments.
See you next time. This was Japan Lyric Room.